So, Happy New Year, guys. At first, this is, I think the first thing I should say because it's my first video this year. Yeah, and I'm so sorry I did not upload for a really long time as I was busy with school and a lot of other stuff. But I'm back and I will be doing a lot of exciting videos from now on. Well, at least if I can. But today's video is a very special video, not only because I revealed my face for the first time, but I'm celebrating my 1 year on YouTube for this channel. I opened this channel on November 18th, I think, on 2020, and I started to upload videos here from December 2020, and which was actually 19th December 2020, and 19th December 2021 marked my 1 year on YouTube. So I'm very delighted, and I wanted to make a video earlier, but I didn't because I was very busy. I had school and exams and a lot more things. But yeah, I was like really delighted. I could not believe like one entire year passed so quickly. Thank you guys so much for all the support that you guys um, gave me throughout this whole year, and I did not really expect that I would get a lot of love and support from you guys. So today's video is a very special video, like I said, for 1 year, because I think that this is a day that we should all celebrate. So today I'm going to be telling you guys a story. I was supposed to do this video with a friend, but I couldn't really because she had another schedule planned. I had another schedule planned, but it's okay. We're going to do a collab later. So today I'm going to tell you guys a mystery story, which is my very own story. It's a story that I wrote for my school, but I showed it to many of my friends and they really liked it. So I thought, why not share with you guys as well? This story does not have a title, but we were given to write a story on mystery. So let's just say that the story is, I guess, I don't know. Wait, let me just find the name of that detective. Yeah. Will Anderson and the Case of the Smiths. So, let's start. The Smith family was a very famous family in London, and they were very famous for owning Smith jewelers in over 5 countries. Wow, can you believe that? This, I don't know what. Um, all 6 members of the family, Stella, Mike, Layla, Ben, Mrs. Ruby Smith, and Mr. Hazard Smith. No, not Hazard. Oh my god, I forgot the name of my own characters. It's Harzat Smith. Were the most noble, intelligent, and honest people of their society. The story begins from Mrs. Smith's stolen necklace, which she got as a gift on her 58th birthday from Mr. Smith. So, as you guys can guess, that this is a robbery story, but this also has a murder case into it, so it's a mixture of both. I wanted to write a lot more, but I couldn't because we had a certain word limit, and I crossed that, but yeah, I just couldn't really write much more. I had a really, amazing story plan, but I just couldn't because we had a word limit. Let's move on. It was her daughter Stella's engagement, and Mrs. Smith thought of wearing that special necklace, but she could not find it anywhere. Where did it go? Let's read to know. Suddenly, her daughter Leila called her and said, "Please come down quickly, Mom. Everyone's car is here." So Mrs. Smith went down with a necklace which she bought a few years back. So this was like a random and plain necklace that she bought for herself. Yeah, she really wanted to wear that special necklace because that necklace that Mr. Smith gave her on her birthday, that was like a very special necklace, but she couldn't wear it because she didn't find it. So, what really happened to that necklace? Did she lose it or did it get stolen? Let's see. So, okay. Later that night, after the party, Mrs. Smith told Mr. Smith about the lost necklace. Mr. Smith thought that she kept it somewhere in the closet and told her to search for it the following day. So Mrs. Smith had this intention, like she used to keep something somewhere, but later she could not find it. So Mr. Smith thought like, oh, it was like that. So he didn't really care much about it. Anywho, let's continue. The next morning, the whole Smith family, including the staff members, started searching for the necklace. When Stella went to search it in her room, she saw that her grandmother's ruby ring was missing too. Uh-oh, now what? It was the last gift that her grandmother gave her. So, obviously, as you guys can guess, that her grandmother is not alive anymore, and before she passed away, she gave her this ruby ring, and that ring meant a lot to Stella, so she could not find it. And that ruby ring she wore on her engagement, too, so she just like kept it out last night because, you know, engagement parties, and especially when like someone's the bride, you guys like when the when someone is the bride, only they would know like how tiring it could be. Like um Stella was the bride, so it was her engagement, so she would know how tired she was, right? So it was the last gift that her grandmother gave her. Let's see. I think I said this line 2 times. I'm sorry if I did. She went downstairs and informed her parents about this. Ben started to suspect that it was not just a missing piece of jewelry, but a case of robbery. So Ben, he used to like overthink a lot, even on the smallest things, so he just thought that case in that way. He told his parents to call the police, but they refused and thought of searching those a few more times. So their parents were like, oh, okay, Ben, come on, you're just overthinking. We don't need to call the police for just jewelry. I'm sure it's in the home. It's just like a few pieces of jewelry. We could find it. They did not think to depth. Meanwhile, one of the staff members, Sullen says, was hiding and hearing all these. Layla saw her and said, "What are you doing there, Celine?" Celine came out and with a terrified voice she said, "Nothing." Like she said the word nothing in a terrified manner. So Celine is like, Layla kind of was like, did Celine take it? Why is she listening to us? She was like that, so she kind of got a bit angry, but that was not Celine. Ruby told her to go upstairs and clean their room. Like, since they searched for it, a lot, their rooms were a mess. So her mother told her just go Celine and search, like clean their room. And also to kind of stop Layla because Ruby, their mother, they really liked Celine and she was with them when she was a child. So Celine has a special place in her mother's heart. Their cousin Martha was staying with them as well, and she said, "Aunt Ruby, can Celine steal the jewelries?" She also suspected Celine. Mrs. Ruby trusted Celine completely and refused. She's like, "No, come on, how can Celine do that? She's not that kind of a girl." Next paragraph. 1 month later, the search was still going on among the Smith family until 20th November 2016. Mr. Smith told his family at dinner time, "I have hired a detective. Mr. Will Anderson will look into our case." The whole family was filled with joy as Mr. Anderson was the best detective of England and he was also an author. So Mr. Will Smith, he used to like write down all the cases, what happened, the date. He used to kind of make like a documentary about the case to encourage young detectives. Hey guys, so the camera kind of cut off, and I don't know where it stopped, but Mr. Smith, not Mr. Smith, Mr. Anderson used to write entertainment books for children as well as case books, like the documentary books for adults. Let's continue. Oh, and also on my jacket, I think you can see a little bit of the logo. It has the BTS logo. It's a BTS jacket that my dad gifted on my birthday. Yay! So I thought of why not wearing it today. So let's continue. Rose Rosenblatt, another staff member, got frightened and broke a plate. Everyone looked at her with a suspicious look. She apologized and cleaned the mess. So Rose Rosenblatt was like terrified because there's gonna be a detective and all that search going on, and yeah. So who do you think it is, Rose or Selling? Oh, speaking of Rose Rosenblatt, guys, like for those of you who watch Meryl Twins, you guys should know who Rose Rosenblatt is. It's a character from their channel, and I know a few of my friends who watch Meryl Twins, so yeah. I'm also like Meryl Twins fan, by the way, if you guys didn't know. So sorry for the noise. My neighbors, like upstairs, they're very loud. She apologized and cleaned the mess. The next day, the detective came. Everyone was talking about their problem. Rose and Celine were there as well. Soon, Mr. Will told the girls to leave. The girls means Celine and Rose because he was kind of like suspecting them too, and he's a very like expert detective. He can like feel something. So, since those two girls were standing and listening to their talk, he was like, let me just tell them to leave. Yeah. Both of them left, but Rosenblatt returned with cucumber sandwich. The search began from 22nd November 2016. Rose was so curious to know that she had to return with cucumber sandwich, and she intentionally left the cucumber sandwich at the kitchen so that if she were told to leave, she could return. So, moving on. On December 8th, Mr. Will decided to visit their jewelry shop and took a list of the names of the regular customers. It could be the customers too, you never know. So he just like took a list of the regular customers' names because there are some rare customers who like just go to their shop for once or twice. So yeah, they couldn't really be on the list, but the other customers like who are regular, who come there at least 3 times a month or 85 times a year, they could be. You never know. So where were we? That evening, Mr. Will went to the Smith mansion and saw Rose talking on the phone. When he asked their steward to call Mr. and Mrs. Smith, Rose immediately went there to greet the detective with a nervous smile. She was like, oh no, did he listen to me talking on the phone? What am I gonna do now? Let me just quickly go and greet him. She was like in that, like, you know, when we're nervous, we do certain things, right? She did the same. Soon the Smiths came down and Mr. Will took them. No, not Mr. Will, okay? I read this one completely wrong. Soon the Smiths came down and took Mr. Will to their green room as this was a private conversation. This time not all the members of the family were involved because it was a private conversation, so that's why they couldn't like really make him sit on the living room and took him to the green room instead. So yeah, they could like have a nice and private talk. So the next morning, when Martha asked Helen, another Meryl Twins character, another staff member, where Stella was, she said that Stella went out to meet Brandon. So Stella and Brandon, you guys know the Winx Club. Stella and Brandon, yeah. Martha enjoyed to drink her milk tea at morning, made by Rose Rosenblatt. So Martha really liked to drink tea, but she liked one specific kind of tea that was milk tea, and only Rose Rosenblatt could make that, so she just enjoyed that. So when she called Rose, Helen said that she went out. Martha thought that what work could Rose possibly have early in this morning? She kind of suspected Rose now. Then, where were we? Okay, there we go. Mrs. Smith came down to tell everyone that Stella's in-laws were coming later that day. So, when her in-laws left, Ruby kept the golden goblet, which was a cup made of pure gold gifted by Stella's in-laws. Like, in-laws means like the to-be in-laws. You know, since they were engaged, they would get married super soon, so like they could just call them in-laws. So they left. They just came to give some gifts to them, and I'm talking about Stella's in-laws. So later that evening, Mr. and Mrs. Smith went to Mr. Will's office. Meanwhile, the golden goblin was stolen. So when they left, for Mr. Will's office, the golden goblin was stolen in the meantime. When Mr. and Mrs. Smith returned that night, they were too tired to notice whether the golden goblin was there or not. That night, in the outhouse, like, you know, since they were very rich, they had a big mansion, and so they had a really big piece of land, and they made two houses. Like, one house was the mansion, and that had so many rooms, like for themselves, for some guest rooms, and some other rooms. And they also made another outhouse, which was specifically made for all the staff members. Like, it had a lot of rooms. Like, each staff got their own room. They also got a luxurious life. So that's the outhouse. So yeah, where's the outhouse? That night in the outhouse, where the staffs used to sleep, something happened. Celine was scrolling through her phone when she heard some noises. So Celine, she was done with her work. She was in her room chilling and scrolling through her phone, and suddenly she heard some noises. She took her coat and phone and followed that person. 1 hour later, when the robber arrived at her destination, so Celine knew it was a she because the robber, she was wearing like heels. I did not mention that in the story because, like I said, it would be too long. So these are just some general details that I think you guys should know. Yeah. Where is it? She was telling someone, here is the golden goblet, Petunia. Oh my god, that car just honked the horn so loudly. That's something we get every day, guys. Yeah, I'm sorry for that. So Petunia is another character from the Merrill Twins Exposed. And also MT News, which is like the Merrill Twins news. Next, moving on. Where is it? Yeah. I hope this will be enough for a month. It is hard to get out of that house, you know. Petunia, Mr. Smith's customer's sister, replied, "This will cost me a lot. Now I finally have a golden goblet to myself. I will call you and tell you what you need to steal next. Keep this cash." So she gave her a very good amount of cash, and Petunia, she was a regular customer, and also her brother, which you will come to know very soon. Meanwhile, Celine heard this and decided to follow the thief. When they reached home, Celine called from behind, "You, stop where you are." A very dramatic line. The girl turned around. Celine was shocked and said, "You? How could you?" The thief smirked. Celine went near the thief and was about to say her name, and the girl took out a knife and put it at her chest. There lay Celine. The next morning, when Carol. Okay, every character's name I'm saying is from the Merrill Twins. Merrill Twins, if you're watching this, hi. Where is it? The next morning, Carol was going to the organic farm to get some fruits, and suddenly everyone heard Carol's scream from the breakfast table. I think you guys know why. Um, they all ran quickly to see what had happened, and there they saw it. It was Celine. Everyone started to cry, but Mr. Smith immediately called Will. So everyone loved Celine and especially their mother, so everyone started to cry, but Mr. Smith, he just had to hold himself together because there had to be one person to control that scene. So he just like didn't know what to do and just quickly called Mr. Will, and like that was a very wise thing to do. So everyone started to cry. Okay. Will arrived with his friend Dr. Bella Marks. And if you guys are wondering what's the doctor gonna do here, you guys, I'm telling you, I'm coming to that. Um, Will and everyone else saw the CCTV footage for a few times and they found out that the thief um, was one of their staff members and it was a girl. So they noticed that it was a girl and like by the CCTV footage. So Dr. Bella took Celine's body to test what was actually done to her. I mean, we all know that like a chest, like not a chest, a knife, like poked her chest, but she had to like test some things. You know what doctors do to test kind of like dead bodies and stuff. I don't know all that, but they just do it when there's like a murder case. So yeah, like to investigate like where and how it happened, like by the, it's like something like doctors know. um yeah, few days passed and the investigation was still going on, and in the meantime, like Mrs. Smith, she had gone so mad, like after seeing this scene she could never imagine this could be done to Celine, and she treated Celine like her daughter, so it was very hard for her. The others, they somehow managed to control themselves, but Mrs. Smith was totally shattered. So few days passed and the investigation was still going on. One day, Bella came and said, "If you look carefully, the knife was hit beside her chest. See, she would have been alive, but after testing her body, we found out that she was poisoned with carbon monoxide, which is a very poisonous gas used to suffocate people. So, like the thief, she had like put some carbon monoxide on the knife and just stabbed her. So, yeah. Mr. Wills said, "We must find out who did this. The person is among us, and this is the scariest thing." So now Mr. Will knows that like the robber and the murderer is living with them. It's one of them. What to do now? Ben asked. Mr. Will came up with a plan. Everyone agreed to do it. So, you know how in movies be like the characters, they discuss a plan among themselves and they just like put music or they just like skip that scene to kind of like, put people in suspense. So it's kind of like this. Um the plan was that Mr. Will would not meet them, but he would secretly meet them for a month. So this was like just one part of the plan, but there's a lot more to the plan. As per the plan, a few months passed and it was 18th April 2017 and the doorbell rang. Helen opened the door and welcomed Mr. Will. Today, Mr. Will came over for dinner, but when he went to wash his hands, he heard Rose Rosenblitz telling someone on the phone, "I will bring it tonight." So Miss Rose Rosenblitz, she did not know that Mr. Will was coming because this was a top secret. Like the Smiths, they told the staff members to prepare dinner because they were going to have a guest over, and Rose Rosenblitz like did not know, like not Rose Rosenblitz, nobody knew that Will Anderson he would come. Then at the dinner table, when everyone was present, while eating, Mr. Will said, "I know who stole everything and murdered Celine. It is," he just was about to say the name. Just at that moment, Rose started to run. She had a plate on her hand and she just like quickly dropped that plate and started to run because she's like, this was actually the plan to catch the thief and the murderer. This was the plan. Like, he would do this, and obviously the person who is the culprit, he or she, like, obviously it's a she would actually like do something out of nervousness to protect herself. So we're nearly done with the story. It's like just a few more parts left. Um, just at that moment, everyone shouted, "Rose, Rosenblitz," because they knew no one else reacted to this except Rose. Ben called the police. The police came and arrested her. They kept her in the lockup for 2 weeks. 2 weeks later, she said, when the Smiths, like, not everyone was allowed to meet her. Only Mr. Will, he was allowed to meet her. So it's like said that I work for David D. Loret and his sister Petunia. So David D. Loret was the customer and Petunia was his sister, and they were like the very regular customers, and they were actually very close with them. So they knew everything, and they sent Rose to their house. Everyone had realized that they were Mr. Smith's French customers. 1 month later, they were found and arrested. Like, David and Petunia, they ran away. They like ran away from London. Like, they didn't even go to France. They ran to another country. They went to I did not think of that country. Why? They ran away to, let's say, India? I don't know. That's the only thing I could think right now. It's like South Africa or India. South Africa or India. So they went to India. They first went to South Africa for 2 weeks, and then they went to India for the rest of the time. They were in the lockup for 2 months, but still there was no clue of the gold. The search was on. On 26 November 2018, they finally opened their mouths and the stolen things were found. Then, the last, what should I say? The last position where the Lorets and Rosenblitz went to is jail. Thus, the French customers and Rose Rosenblitz were sentenced to lifetime prison. So, yeah, they were prison. Things kind of got back to normal. Things actually went back to normal. And Stella and Brandon got married and they all lived happily ever after. I hope you guys enjoyed this story. And if you want to hear more stories like this, then don't forget to subscribe to my channel, like this video, share this with friends and family. And in the comments, let me know what other stories you would like to hear from me. And also, I have an Instagram account, which is draw_with_era_and_lab. It's basically for my second channel, but you guys could follow me there if you want. And I'm so sorry I could not upload for a long time. I did make a painting video, but I just really could not upload it because I bought a new phone and there I did not have this YouTube account set. So that's why I couldn't really upload it. I was too lazy to set that up. But now I think it's time that I get back to this channel and I make videos on this channel because this channel is kind of going extinct and I don't want this channel to be dead. I want to keep this alive as this is my first channel and it has a very special place in my heart. So yeah, that's basically why I am back. So I really hope you enjoyed it. And once again, thank you so much for watching this video. And I know this was a bit too long, but yeah, I still hope that you guys enjoyed it. And I will try to upload regularly. So until next time, I will see you guys and stay safe, stay home, and protect yourselves from the coronavirus. and don't go out too much because the world is actually a pretty scary place right now. So, that was all I had to say. Bye, guys.